Hello and welcome back to Europe 1100, and what we're going to do first of all is get to that 175 in riding skill. We really do need to get 175 before we head off on our journey to the Middle East to hopefully be able to get some war horses, or shall we say, to get a slightly more accessible way to produce them. Because let's face it, if I can get to 175... I will then have the ability to have a percentage chance to produce a war mount every single day. And that is very, very powerful. If we can actually make that happen, then I will be very pleased. Then we'll be basically off to the races, pretty much. We will be extremely, extremely happy with that. And if I'm not able to do that, well, then things are not going to go so well. As you can quite clearly tell from me just immediately getting killed right there. Ah, well, never mind. I guess that doesn't really matter too much because my forces will be able to win, but this is obviously not going to get me any riding skill very, very fast at all. I guess that's just a bad start, isn't it? It's just a bad start. Oh well, onwards and upwards, as they say. And obviously, I'm still trying to convert as many as many prisoners as I possibly can over to our party. Now, I did see Harry go in this direction, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe I can also fight him. Let's see, where are you? There he is. All right, let me see. Wait a minute. What does he have? He's just got a bunch of levies. All right, this should be easy. All right, this should be easy, he says, going in there with 37% HP. What do you bet I get killed immediately? Hopefully not. Anyway, I'm just going to just super aggressively charge at the opponent here. I was actually kind of hoping that my forces would do that beforehand, but they seem to take a long time to actually get to their destination. Not sure why, but they do seem to take quite a while. Anyway, hopefully I will be able to get a little bit of riding skill here. I'm not talking about a massive amount, I just want to get a couple of points. You know, 1 or 2 would be fine. But unfortunately, yeah, it's much more difficult to use this hammer than you might imagine. Even though, hilariously enough, it is actually one of the most usable weapons I have had. But for some reason, I am not handling it very well in this episode. I don't know why. Oh well, never mind. It's just a bad day for me, I guess. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here, I suppose. Anyway, hopefully we'll get some skill from it. I don't actually know whether we will. I think we've already gotten to 172, haven't we? Surely we've gotten to 172 already. I mean, here's the thing though, these are just literally levies, so they're not really going to provide me with an exceptional amount of skill experience, shall we say, if I manage to eliminate them. So I guess that might be the reason. Maybe, yeah. Oh no, we're actually at 174. Wow, that's a lot better than I thought. Okay, that means that I might actually be able to get to 175 in this very battle if I can eliminate Harry himself. There he is. Get him. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no, we leveled up our two-handed, but not our riding skill. Oh, well, never mind. That's going to be the end of it. I did manage to survive, which I gotta say, I'm very, very surprised about. I thought to myself, no, we're probably gonna die, you know, probably gonna die there. But anyway, let's just let him go, as we've been doing. And yeah, as I say, there's basically nothing that I can do here. I'm just going to continue trying to convert prisoners as best as I can. Now, the main reason why I want to do this is obviously so that on our journey, the breeder skill is going to consistently attempt to get us mounts in some way or another. It doesn't really matter whether it gives us war mounts. It would obviously be preferable if it gives us war mounts, but if it doesn't give us war mounts, then that's absolutely fine as well, because we can just sell the horses or, you know, what have you. But we are basically then getting horses for free, and we don't have to worry about getting horses ever again. But that just basically means that I'm going to need to invest a lot of my money, which is also the reason why fighting these guys right here, fighting these fellows over and over again, is actually making a pretty significant difference to our overall chances of success too, because it is giving me additional influence, and that additional influence is being converted into cash. And you can see here I'm making over 2,000 gold every single day. And I'm basically just loitering outside Dublin right now. I'm actually wondering whether I should move on and go somewhere else, but this has been relatively lucrative for us. Oh, there's a caravan as well. That's absolutely perfect. Let's attack the caravan, and we'll go straight on in. Hopefully I can get my last point in riding skill here. Technically, if I wanted to get this even faster, which I think if you're power gaming, okay? Now, this is obviously not something that I don't usually power game unless I am very specifically doing some kind of challenge or I want to show something to you. So, you know, if there's a specific strategy or method to do something, then obviously I'll show you at that point. But most of the time I'm just going to play relatively normally, you know, just normally. I'm not going to be playing, you know, super min-maxing or anything like that. However, I would definitely recommend, if you are someone that wants to be super, super strong in your first initial, you know, character creation, or maybe you're thinking of creating a new character and you're going to try it out, you're going to see if you can make something a little bit different. I would highly recommend putting as many points into riding skill, if it is indeed a riding, you know, mounted character, of course. You know, just put as many focus points as possible into that skill. Because if you can get to a point where you can just create noble mounts, war mounts out of thin air, you're going to be able to basically write your own ticket. You're not going to need anything else, which is pretty incredible. You're literally not going to need anything else at all. You're just going to need those mounts, and that's it. That's all you're going to need. It's going to be exceptional. It's going to be so, so good for you. And that's exactly the reason why I'm doing this. I mean, well, to be fair, it's not actually for the cash, but if you wanted to, and if you wanted to make a huge amount of money, then you could obviously do it through that. But, you know, let's just see whether this actually works, because maybe it's not even going to work, you know? Maybe I'm just blowing this up out of proportion, and I think that it's going to be so much better than it actually is. Anyway, we're just going to do that. I'm going to get another point in riding skill as well, just because I think that riding skill is generally a pretty decent thing to have. Being able to maneuver your mount in combat much, much easier, simpler, faster, you know, all that wonderful stuff. But we now have the breeder perk, which is fantastic. Let me just take a quick look. So here's the thing. All right. So this is what's going to happen now. I have 2 war mounts, and these are different types. So I'm not sure if that's... I think that's probably going to be 1% each. I'm not sure on the calculation how this actually works. But basically, as far as I am aware, the breeder skill, as you can see right here, has a 1% daily chance of animals in your party reproducing. You may think initially, oh, 1% chance? That's really, really low. But someone told me a while ago that it is per mount. Per mount. So, in other words, every single day, your mounts, dependent on what type they are, in my opinion at least. So let's say that let's say that I get unlucky, and every single day it gives me a 57% chance to gain a sumpter horse, or to gain multiple sumpter horses. That could potentially be the case, and so then I'm just going to be having huge amounts of sumpter horses, which is definitely not something that I want. That is far and away not the best thing for me to have happen. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? So hopefully that's not how it's going to work, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, I think do I not have... Where is my ship, by the way? Is it at that ferry point over there? I think it's at that ferry point down there, isn't it? I think so. Because basically, now that I have the breeder skill, now we can make our way over to the Middle East, and I'm very much hoping that it is actually going to be here. Yeah, set sail. Yep, there it is. Okay, whew. I'm very glad that I remembered where it was. But also, and now bear in mind, this mod actually does have a keybind, or some way of actually telling where your fleets are. So you don't actually have to remember it. If you're like me and you don't have a particularly good memory or whatever, you can do it very easily through just, you know, finding it that way. You know, you can just use the use the game to help you. Anyway, I'm just going to take this companion because why not? It might make sense for us to take him along. Oh, wow, there's actually 2 war mounts here. This is absolutely perfect. Really, really good timing, actually, for them to be here. And I'm actually going to go down to Durham at the moment. I'm going to go down to Durham, and I'm going to go into the village there, and we're just going to see what's going on, because obviously I want to try to get as many war mounts as possible. We've got some more Glintor ponies. That's fantastic. And we're actually going to be selling a bunch of these Sumpter horses too. We're going to get rid of these things as well. The little saddles and everything. Going to get rid of the hardwood and all this wonderful stuff. We've got a load of trade goods as well, by the way, because of course we do. You know, we've been attacking so many caravans. Of course we're going to have a huge amount of trade goods. So we could just sell all of this stuff. And is there actually anything? Oh yeah, Durham. Oh, Durham does not have that much actually available. I guess I'll just buy some mounts. To kind of offset the issue a little bit. I thought I was in a town there for a very quick second. Oh well, never mind. We didn't really gain or lose anything too dramatic there. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, look at this. 9 Glintor ponies. Absolutely fantastic. This is wonderful. All right, so this is definitely going to make a huge difference to us. I'm going to sell some Sumpter horses right here because I want to try to reduce my herding problems. Seems like I have a bunch of them for some reason. Don't know why. But yeah, that is... Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I should probably reduce this a little bit more. Yeah, we have 0.02, so that's absolutely fantastic. This is also helping us to increase the chances that Glintor ponies will be reproduced, which is absolutely fantastic. That's kind of what we want, isn't it? So anyway, we're just going to sell all of this stuff too. And there's a bunch of it, obviously, as you might expect. And actually, you know what? Let me just do this real quick because that new companion just joined us. And it kind of makes sense to give him some stuff just so that he actually can wear some things. Let me just see. Okay, yeah, he doesn't even have a shield. So we're going to have to get him a shield. Get him something a little bit better. What does he actually have, though? Oh, he's a two-handed user. Okay, it would be funny if I could give him a croquet mallet, wouldn't it? That would be pretty, I don't think I have a two-handed for him. Is there actually a two-handed available here somewhere? There's a star falchion. I very much like those. Oh, no, wait. No, there's a one-handed. No, that's a one-handed. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like there is actually anything here for him. I mean, we've got these bearded axes, so technically we could give him a bearded axe, I suppose, which is pretty significant. I'm gonna keep him with a sword and a shield because you never know. Maybe that's going to be kind of useful for him. But otherwise, apart from that, we're just going to sell the rest. And yeah, obviously, this is going to be an exceptional amount of cash that we're going to gain here as well. There's a load of ranged weapons too that we have. Look at how much we're gaining from this. And this is literally just from a couple of engagements that we had in Ireland. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's just so incredible to have the ability to make this much money as soon as you become a mercenary. And I'm talking about, obviously, let's face it, you're going to have a relatively decently sized army that is capable of taking on enemy vassals. Because obviously sometimes you're maybe not going to have that, you know? Maybe you're just going to be running around with a bunch of levies or a bunch of tier 2 troops. And it's going to be very difficult for you to take on these guys. But if you do have the ability to take them on, you're going to have a wonderful time. Just like we did, you know, just like we did. Anyway, let's just have a look at, yes, more Glintor ponies. Absolutely fantastic. We can take some chargers as well. Just going to take a huge amount of these war mounts. And now this is when the fun begins. And I'm talking about watching breeder skill at work. I'm very much hoping that it is actually going to work in the way that I hope it is going to. If it doesn't, then, well, I don't really know what to tell you, but hopefully it will work how I think. And we're just going to go back to Glasgow real fast and go into the port. I'm actually kind of wondering what I should do right now. Kind of thinking that I'm just gonna go. But I was kind of wondering whether I should recruit some more noble troops before I leave, but I don't think I need to do that, right? Oh well, never mind. Okay, so let's make sure that we keep a good eye on the text box, because the text box is going to show us exactly when we are graced by the wondrous, wondrous thing that is going to be war mounts reproducing in our inventory. Or at least I hope that that is going to be the case. Now, bear in mind that I obviously have to travel pretty far. It is basically the... Oh, yeah, I left Mr. Horse Thief in London. Oh, well, he's just going to continue winning tournaments, I suppose. That's pretty funny. Basically, okay, now here's a small tip. If you have a companion that has around... let's just say around 150 and above, if you can actually find a companion that has really good combat skills, you can just place them in any town and they'll more than likely win every single time, because there's no one else that is going to be able to do that unless there's a bunch of lords in the town itself. But yeah, that's just a small little tip for those of you that may want to do the same strategy, where you just place a companion in a town and they can just win tournaments for you over and over again. Technically, you could do that with every single person in your clan. So for example, let's say that every single one of my companions was good at combat, which they're not, obviously. They're not all going to be good at combat, but let's say that all of them were good at combat. You'd be able to place them in 6 different towns, and then you would have a very high chance of them winning every single tournament. And so, technically, you would then be gaining around, 12,000 gold every week? I actually don't know how often a tournament is going to be, is going to be starting or anything like that, but yeah. Anyway, let me just see here. Okay, so unfortunately, it looks as though we're going to have a bit of a problem. We're going to have to land here, I guess. I actually don't know. I mean, I think the desert would probably be relatively decent to look around for villages and things. It's actually kind of a shame I can't see the villages while I'm, while I'm on the ocean. But I guess I'll see that when I land. So we're just going to go over here. I'm not going to try to pronounce this name of this port, because that's going to be... it's going to be very difficult for me to do that, so I will not even try. And otherwise, yeah, it seems like my breeder skill has not come in handy at all. I'm actually very, very surprised. Maybe it doesn't tell me anymore. I don't know. Maybe there is a... I don't know, maybe they've hidden that particular thing. I actually don't know. Look at the amount of food these guys have. What? Look at that. It's crazy. They've got so much food, but they have basically no horses whatsoever, which is very funny. I came all this way for horses. No. Okay, so let me actually just have a look. All right, so let me have a look at the various villages here. Let's see now. I'm not seeing any, actually. I'm not seeing any villages that are producing horses. I mean, I'm not seeing the icons by some of these. Is that a castle? I think that might be a castle. Never mind. That might actually explain why they're not producing anything if it's a castle, of course. Well, yeah. There's one. I'm wondering where the horses are going to be produced, to be honest, because in my current location, they do not seem to really have that many. Oh, there's one over there. That could be somewhat good. Oh, there's one here too. Okay, fine. Let's go down here and we'll see whether we can maybe find some for a cheap price, or maybe we can go to the nearby town and we'll see what happens. But, yeah, that would be nice. Ooh, there's also a tournament going on here. I wouldn't actually mind doing a tournament because it has been quite a while that we have experienced a new kind of tournament. I don't know what tournament they're going to have here, but it would be kind of cool to try it out. But let's go into the trade screen real quick here. Alright, so they got a couple of war mounts here, but nothing really dramatic. I'm actually very surprised that we're not seeing a huge amount. I kind of would have expected more here, but oh well, never mind. Okay, so we're just going to go in. There is one lord here, so it could be that he is going to be absolutely murdering us. But you'll be actually very pleased to know that the Scottish and the Irish have actually made peace with each other. So we're not actually missing out on anything, which is pretty cool, because obviously, if if I was still in that area, then, you know, I would technically still be fighting, or I technically could still be fighting, but no, that wouldn't actually be happening, because obviously they made peace, which is still extremely surprising to me in general, because they haven't actually done anything in regards to increasing their own territory. They are, for some reason, extremely passive, and I don't know why. I'm perplexed as to the reason why that would be happening, because the Scottish had every reason to take one of their castles back, because it was on the border. You know, it was like, you know, very, very like entrenched in Scottish territory, and I was like, well, why don't they take it back? You know, they could very easily take it back, but they decided not to. It's actually kind of strange. This guy is literally not having any throwing skill whatsoever, but thankfully, because I'm relatively decent with throwing weapons, funnily enough, I never would have said that, you know, like, what, 6 years ago, playing Warband, you could not pay me to use a thrown weapon and actually hit with it. I don't know what was happening with me back then, but apparently I was just terrible with a thrown weapon, as he says as he misses. Isn't that funny? But yeah. The point is, I think Bannerlord just has the right amount of thrown weapon mechanics. I don't know really how to quantify that, but it feels a lot better to use thrown weapons in Bannerlord than it does in Warband. But I'm probably just using them wrong, to be honest, in Warband. Anyway, we unfortunately do not have that many horses available here, so I'm gonna have to move on to the nearby village. Hopefully there's going to be something going on there. And we did manage to win the tournament, actually very handily, surprisingly enough. And so, yeah, here we go. Okay, well, where? Okay, wait a minute. What's actually going on here? Is this? What is this faction right here? This is this from the same? Oh wow, they've got such a different banner. I was like, wait a minute. I was just struck by the extremely colorful banner in comparison to this banner over here, and I was like, what's going on here, you know? Oh well, never mind. Okay, that's great. I was like, what? Is it a completely new faction down here? No, there isn't. It's just they have a different banner in general for their clan. But there you go, we got 2 more war mounts. All right, so it seems like to me, coming down here has not really given us an exceptional amount of war mounts. I was kind of hoping that maybe it would be similar to the Azerai territory, because if you know the base game of Bannerlord, you can go to the southernmost town in Azerai lands, and you'll more than likely find a massive amount of war mounts there. Sometimes you won't, but most of the time you will. And that is definitely something that I was kind of hoping would happen here. As you can see, we're still not getting... No, we're not getting rewarded for our journey here, which is very sad. I was kind of hoping that we would. Let's take a look. Anything else here? No, we got some more of these. That's fine. We've got 2 noble mounts, but this is really, again, not going to be particularly useful for us. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, well, that's actually very, very sad. Oh, all right, no, okay, fine. Okay, well, what about if we go over to Jerusalem? All right, so where is Jerusalem again? I think it's up here, right? I think it's all the way up here in the in Scandinavia or something like that, isn't it? I'm obviously being funny because you know, a bunch of people were like, "What? You don't know where Jerusalem is?" Well, I mean, do you know where this is? I mean, what's here? What's this town right here? I mean, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean. But anyway, the point is, yeah, so we're going to go up to the British Isles and go and see Jerusalem right there. And we're going to see what's going on, because obviously that's going to be extremely, extremely important for us. Maybe there's going to be a bunch of horses that we might be able to purchase there as well. I'm obviously joking. We're going to go over here, where it actually is, of course. Okay, land the fleet. There it is. Okay, do they have anything available here? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't see any villages nearby, but that doesn't mean that they won't have war mounts. No, they've got 1 war mount, and it is very expensive. I will buy it, nevertheless. Very sad. Okay, do they have any tasks here that I might be able to take? And I was kind of hoping for kind of like an escort merchant caravan mission or something like that, because usually those are super, super fun to do. And, you know, they do give you a lot of rewards for that as well. But you know what I should probably do? I should probably go and sell at a nearby town. I think that would probably make the most sense, because if I sell, I've got a bunch of stuff in my inventory, so it might make sense. But, yeah, I'm actually very surprised that my breeder skill has not actually been doing anything dramatic. As you can see, we still have 17 Glintor ponies, we still have 8 Darshi horses, and we're not really doing very well. I'm actually very surprised, but maybe that just means I need to get more of them. Maybe it means I need to wait for a longer amount of time. Maybe that's it, you know? I don't know. I'm at a loss, basically. I'm at a loss right now, because obviously if we can't figure out a way for us to maintain or have a significant stream of war mounts, it's going to be a bit of a tough one. It is going to be a bit of a tough one. Oh well, never mind. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, there's basically no war mounts anywhere. I did go... I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe someone in the comments can let me know if there's actually a better place for me to go, because I went down here and I was thinking to myself, well, this is the Middle East, right? So I was thinking, yeah, maybe this is a pretty decent idea. And then maybe I could go maybe over here, over to Lisbon, maybe over to Algiers or something like that, maybe Tunis, something along those lines. Maybe those places are going to have some additional war mounts. I don't know. That's the thing. It's very much a case of, well, we just don't know whether they're going to have anything. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And it certainly doesn't help that we have to go along the coast. Yeah, that is obviously going to mean that we're going to take a little bit longer to get to our destination. But yeah, anyway, maybe we'll be able to find something there. It's actually kind of sad that we're... Oh, no, never mind. We are actually leveling up our steward skill, so that's pretty good. I think that's quite nice. Okay, so as you can see, we have 2 choices here. I don't actually like the name of this one, personally. No offense, I just don't really like the name of it. I think that's kind of a bit... Well, you know, we're taking this and then being like, yeah, we're going to force people to work against their will or something, or at extremely low prices or something like that. Anyway, plus 20% reproduction rate to owned workshops. I mean, this is basically the only thing you can really take, in my opinion. This is the best one out of these 2, because the other thing is basically pointless most of the time, because if you're part of an army, well, 10% reduced food consumption, who cares about that, you know? And if you have any workshops whatsoever, you want them to be able to produce as much cash as you possibly can, right? Anyway, as you can see, yep, also not here. Very, very sad. Okay. Not here either. Oh well, never mind. I guess that's going to be it for this episode then. I actually wanted to, you know, try to do a little bit more here, but unfortunately, we just haven't been very successful. But I do have a decent amount of war mounts, and what I will be doing off screen is I'll let the game run for a significant amount of time. Hopefully, we're going to be able to see some war mounts being created over time. And, actually, wait a minute. Maybe I am... No, I am the quartermaster, as you can see. I am the quartermaster. Wait a minute. Is it a quartermaster skill, or is it a party leader skill? No, it's just a party leader skill, so it makes no difference whatsoever. Okay, so that's good to know, because I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, have I just done that wrong? No. It is just literally not activating. So that's very, very sad, but... As I say, I'm going to wait for some time off screen, and we're going to see whether we can maybe get a bunch of war mounts, because I know for a fact that breeder skill has been an exceptional producer of mounts in other playthroughs, most notably the Bannerlord modded series with the camel focus that is currently running on the channel. I have had breeder skill be amazing in that. And it has literally provided me with some of the highest tier mounts in the entire game, just because I bought one time. And look at this. one of my other companions literally just won a tournament at Glasgow, and I didn't even pay him. Pay him. No. I didn't even put him there. That's hilarious. Okay, well, that's quite funny. Anyway, so yeah, as I say, we're going to go and head back over into Scotland, and I'm probably going to either decide that I will break away from the Scottish, dependent on if they actually decide to declare war against another faction, because obviously we're going to need a lot of money, but it very much depends on if we're able to capture a town or make a good go of things, because then I'll be able to install a governor, and then all that other wonderful stuff is going to happen in due process. But that's the thing. I have so many of these guys, and I really want to level them up, but it's just unfortunate that I'm not going to be able to do so, because it's just not viable. Ah, there is something viable here, though. Look at these fellows. Look at them. Yes, they're all getting converted, thankfully. But unfortunately, we're now having issues with morale. So yeah, morale is obviously going to be a bit of a problem, but thankfully my food variety and all that wonderful stuff is actually increasing it over time as it is. And who knows, maybe we'll see some really, really cool things happen. I was really hoping that breeder skill would actually come in handy here, but oh well. Seems like it wasn't as strong as I made it out to be initially, but I know for a fact that it can be. So I guess it is just a moment, I don't know, a moment of patience that we need, maybe. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.